State Fullerton has done it. They've gone from 15-16 to champions of college
baseball. Welcome to the 1,544 Miles to Omaha Podcast, talking about the past, present, and future of Cal State Fullerton baseball.
3-2 pitch on Davis is a fastball hit to left and deep. Blazer doesn't even go back on it. It's that far out and gone. Looked like it went over the scoreboard. A home run by J.D. Davis.
0-2 swing and a miss, strike three. Cal State Fullerton is on to the College World Series.
Here's your host, Dave Lamb.
Welcome into episode 83 of the 1544 Miles to Omaha podcast. Today's guest is once again Cal State Fullerton head baseball coach Jason Dietrich. In today's episode, we'll touch on heading into his third season as the head coach of the storied Titan baseball program, updates from the summer, getting his thoughts on the MLB Draft, the incoming transfers and signees, along with what to expect from the upcoming fall practices. So, again, thank you for your time and welcome into the show.
Thanks, appreciate it. Always good to catch up and see how things are going. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So last time we talked, it was prior to the MLB Draft. It's just a little bit of time after the Stanford Regional. Tell us how the summer has been going for you and the coaching staff since last time we talked.
After the regional, as you know, it doesn't stop. The recruiting picks up. So obviously, the season ending is always a tough thing, but we're excited and appreciative of the efforts our guys gave. So it was good, a good season for us. But the summer is, like I said, it's nonstop. It's recruiting 24/7. The great thing also with summer is the opportunity to add a third paid assistant with Jake Pavletich. So we went through that whole process of hiring someone, and having Jake on staff has been a great addition, and that helps obviously with the recruiting piece. He can be out there, and that's kind of what it is. Before you know it, like, school starts up August 21st, so it's kind of a short summer, so to speak, for us. But there's not just recruiting, it's just getting your guys in, make sure, and we're still, looking for certain guys if we feel we need to add to our class, and getting all the paperwork and all that stuff done, and housing. So it's repetitive every year, but it's just things we have to make sure we're checkboxing before school starts to make sure we have everyone ready to go.
So saying it's a little bit repetitive, I know a couple years ago we talked and you said it's kind of like drinking out of a fire hose, because being a head coach, there's a lot of responsibilities that are yours now. And is it still a little bit easier, or is it still a learning process? I
think it's just now you're going on third summer, so it's just a matter of now we have a better idea and grasp of what we're wanting to get done, what we need to get done, and kind of just get our system and our cycle going. So it's not drinking from that fire hose. It's just an opportunity to reflect as a staff, move forward, and continuously, like I said, get things going in the right direction. But yeah, it wasn't as crazy, but it's always pretty steady and busy, to be honest with you.
How much of an advantage or a help has it been in the fact that you've had the consistency of your first two assistants, and Josh Bolofsky and Neil Walton, still remaining on staff now going into that third summer, to the point where it's not a constant surprise, or there's they've been through the war too?
It's great. That's where I'm very lucky and blessed to have a whole staff. Obviously, those guys being the paid assistant, but just a whole staff in general to continuously grow and get better. But having those two guys, you want consistency, you want continuity, and to have those guys, and they do so much for us. They bring so much value, both of them. And I don't want to just talk about those two, but it's everyone on the staff. They do a lot to help us behind closed doors and behind the scenes. So I'm excited and thankful that they're back, and they're excited, and they're putting their great effort as they always do. So it's been good.
Well, talking about the coaching staff, and you did mention that Jake Pavletich is now the third paid assistant. For those that don't really understand the new rules with the NCAA when it comes to a third paid assistant, does that now mean that the volunteer assistant position has now gone away and has been elevated to a third paid, or is there still a third paid position and then you do still have a volunteer How does that work with how the NCAA has fielded it?
Well, how I view it is that they've given the opportunity for schools to have the third paid assistant. Now, luckily, with the support of the athletic department, Jim Donovan, the president, our program and softball have the opportunity to have that, and so it's great for us. Obviously, it's beneficial. It's huge, but I don't know, to be honest with you. I think other schools are going to have to figure out a way to either, I don't think they can label it a volunteer assistant anymore because of, I guess there was some kind of legal stuff going on. That's why I think they made this an opportunity, and luckily we've worked hard, and the department and the schools worked hard to give us this opportunity to have the third paid assistant. Now we don't have a volunteer on staff now. Obviously it's a third paid assistant position. So other schools, I think it's going to be interesting how they put that, and if that's still a possibility, and it'll be interesting to see. But I know a lot of schools out there have worked hard to create the third paid assistant for their programs.
Talk to me a little bit more about how was the summer for the players. I mean, we saw that there was a number of guys that had pretty good summer ball showings. By the nature of summer ball, unfortunately, getting stats is sometimes a little bit problematic. But are any returners or the incoming players that had a particularly good summer that you can recall off the top of your head?
I know Aaron Sinisteros did a good job in Alaska. He pitched a lot, didn't pitch at all last year, but it was great for him to get out there and compete. We got some guys in that collegiate league in the Northwest that got some experience. I think all the guys we wanted to get out there and compete. Some guys we asked them to shut it down just because of just their bodies and give them some rest. They can just kind of recharge their battery, so to speak, and hit the weight room. But there's not really any guys that come to mind. I just thought of Aaron because I know he pitched a lot, and it was good for him to get out there. But the goal for summer is that's just, like I said, get innings, get experience. The numbers are not something you can see guys do really good in summer and really good in fall, and then spring comes, it could be different. It's just to go out there and compete, figure out where they're at, how they can continuously get the at-bats in the innings so they can grow and develop the best they can. So when they come back in fall, we can see kind of their progression and where they're at, and hopefully continuously help them grow and see what they do in fall and compete, and hopefully they put themselves in a position to win a job or at least be someone that's knocking on the door to get innings or at-bats or playing time in the field.
So 4 Titans were drafted with Nate Nankill, Cole Ehrman, Caden Connor, all expected to get selected. And I think the biggest surprise was JoJo Ingracia getting drafted, not necessarily because of his talents or his performance, but just based on the fact that he had some extra eligibility left, unlike some of the other guys that were expected to be drafted. What are your thoughts coming out of the MLB Draft, losing those 4 in particular?
Well, obviously we were thinking that we had a good chance of losing 3. Like JoJo wasn't a surprise. We knew that teams liked him, but we had good conversations with him, and he felt the opportunity was there, presented it. He would go for it, and we support him. At the end of the day, we told him what we thought. Great young man, did so much for us in that 1 year, but we were excited for him to get the opportunity, and that was the right fit for him and his family to get that opportunity to move forward. So we're excited for all 4 of them. We were thankful and gracious. Like I said, it's awesome when you get your name called. It's a blessing, and you got to appreciate that. And so to have 4 guys called, and now a 20-round draft, we were excited for all 4 of them. And then we were lucky also for some of the incoming guys that we know there was some talk out there, and some teams that are talking to some of our guys that they felt it was best for them to come to school and to mature and get better and develop and hopefully put themselves in a good position 2 or 3 years or 4 years from now.
Well, that was actually going to be my next question, is that the good news is that the National Letter of Intent signees went undrafted. So the entire recruiting class didn't get drafted and can come to campus. Which of the ones were most in jeopardy of getting potentially poached by the Major League Draft?
We had Ethan Hawkinson, a big left-hander from up north. Chris Hernandez, a right-hander out of Bakersfield. Then you hear some rumblings about some other guys, Matt Bardowell out of RCC, possibly, physical guy. Derek Turner had a little bit of interest, two-way guy out of Newbury Park. Other than that, I think that's all we had. The bud is we still have some good ball players that we like that came in, and I think they're going to do a good job and put us in position for the future and for this year. So, yeah, those are the guys that we kind of were sweating out a little bit to figure out, hey, what's going to happen. And then luckily, they came and gone, and they're here now.
Well, when we spoke last, we talked a little bit about Jared Snyder, who's a catcher transferring in from the portal from Long Beach State. But since that conversation, Titans picked up 2 other transfers, and you might have to help me with the pronunciation of their last names, or just their names in general. What can you tell us about, is it Micaiah or Micah?
He likes to be called Kai.
He likes to be called Kai?
Yes.
Perfect, that works for us. So there's Kai, is it Negretti or Negret?
Yes, Negret.
Negretti, or Negret?
Negretti, sorry.
A left-handed pitcher from University of San Diego, and he's also originally from Servite High. And then there's Nico, is it Reginio?
Yes.
An outfielder from Charleston Southern, but he's originally from up north in the Stockton area out of Elk Grove.
And we also have Seth Sumner out of UC San Diego.
Oh, okay. I did not know.
So he's a pitcher, right-handed pitcher. So there's 4 guys, you said. We're excited. We're in our 5th week of just doing individual work. So we have a chance to kind of get a feel for them. And as you can imagine, it's 4 new guys. So we're just kind of learning who they are, how they go about doing their business, and then just building relationships with them on the field and off the field. So we're excited. 2 pitchers, 2 position players. Kai comes from USD, but also Servite. So having known those coaches at Servite, they speak very highly of him. I see why, because he's shown that he's a good young man that wants to compete and do things, and obviously very coachable, and excited to see what lies for him. Seth, good young man also out of Damien. Again, coaches spoke well on him, kind of his makeup and who he is. So they both, I feel like, have some potential. Just as you know, it's just a matter of diving into that potential, solidifying some consistency in what they do, so they hopefully put themselves in a position to get some innings. And then Regino out of Charleston Southern, he came from the same junior college as Andrew Moronis and Seth Tomzak. That's Delta. Again, did a lot of homework on him. Sound like he's a guy that's going to fit. I heard he's a good utility type guy, but can swing the bat well. We're excited to see what he can do. And then Jared Snyder, catcher. He's shown well so far, his receiving skills, his makeup. He's done a good job, and we're excited to see what he can do also. So it's just the kind of the unknown, not just with those 4, but just the whole incoming guys, of just spending time with them for the next, up until I think the middle of November, and then just for us as a coaching staff, evaluate where we're at and how we can continuously help these young men grow.
Well, since you've come on board, Titan fans have seen guys that are not part of the letter of intent recruiting class or the portal compete in the fall and earn not only a spring roster spot, but contribute during the season. One that leaps to mind is a guy like Eli Lopez, or even Finn Chester and Tyler Stoltz, in 2 years ago. Who are some of the guys that the Titan fans may not recognize their names, but now could potentially compete for being in the mix in the spring?
I think there's going to be a lot of guys. As you saw, we have a lot of position players that have moved on, whether it be the draft or senior, from Lou to Carter White. So we lost, I think, 6 or 7 guys that were in our lineup. Obviously Brennan Bobo, going in the portal. So we lost a lot of guys, and that for me is just why we recruited another 20. I think we had 20 or 21 guys coming in. And then some of our returning guys that didn't play that much, but hopefully they're ready to step up and challenge for a starting spot. I don't think I can single out guys, because like I said, it's just a lot the returners and new guys that we want to just evaluate more. And we're excited to see who kind of steps up and puts themselves in position to at least say, hey, I'm ready. I want to start in this position, and they're going about it the right way this fall, and then hopefully January they show the same thing, and start February we'll be there, and hopefully we'll probably be making some changes, but that's just normal, right? So, but it's just, we're excited, but the reality is we're going to have to be patient with this group, because it's, like I said, a lot of new guys, inexperienced, but yet guys that I feel that can step in. It's just a matter of how fast they can kind of adapt and grow in Division I baseball.
Well, we already touched on Caden Connor getting drafted, Zach Liu, senior and graduated, held down those corner infield spots for quite a while. Looks like you've got a lot of guys that have a lot of middle infield experience and not a whole lot of corners. So who do you think is potentially going to be pushed to their left or their right to potentially field those those corner spots?
I think it's going to play itself out. We have some guys like Luke Stone play a little last year. I think we're going to see how he does at first base. Regino's another guy that we feel for a transfer that possibly at first base. The but is if someone is hitting well and we want to put him over there to give him a chance, and another spot maybe he didn't do well at, we might experiment them at first base. There'll be a lot of experimenting going on with guys. You know, maybe put Eli Lopez out there to see what he's like. We have some incoming freshmen, Marco Rosales. Do we feel like he could play third? There's, like I said, there's numerous guys. You know, Tyler Hawley is an incoming guy. Unfortunately, he's hurt right now, but he's coming back from his injury that played a lot of third base. Derek Turner's a two-way guy that we feel can possibly be still a two-way guy at Division I. So there's some potential there. It's just, like, as you know, it's just we got to see what they can do and just evaluate. That's the fun part of fall, is exciting to see how they compete, how they go about their business, and then, like I said, then we have to come up with a game plan come spring.
Well, also kind of the same question is the fact that Nan Kilgallen in the draft, Carter White via graduation, Moises Guzman is the only returner essentially out there in the outfield. Who are some of the other guys that you could point to that are going to be competing to fill those spots for the outfield?
Well, you have Colby Wallace, a returner. He had some time last year. Draven Nishida. Who else? We got some incoming guys that we feel can compete. Isaiah Thompson. You know, you got Cam Burdick. You have, who else? Jack Giancone, who fortunately got hurt last year, missed out, but we feel like the potential is in there. But as you can see, the names are reading off for guys that just haven't played that much. And that's not a bad thing. It's just we're excited to see how they go about it. And there's other guys that I might be missing, but that's where we're at right now, and that's how we're excited to see what they can do. And like I said, I think the key is going to be patience. We got to be patient with these guys and challenge them to compete against each other to win jobs.
And then also on the mound, your forte, Finchester, Tyler Stoltz, both gone. Sounds like potentially, if we're trying to look for what a weekend rotation could be this far out and sitting here in September, Evan Yates, hopefully Christian Rodriguez is available to come back and compete at a high level. Potentially Peyton Jones, who was graduated but has returned. Those kind of look to be sort of in the mix, but you know, are we looking at a potential of a Thomas Eshelman, Justin Garza, where you've got some guys that can come in as a freshman and be able to compete for those weekend starts? Yeah,
but also the names you threw out are guys that have experience, and Christian obviously coming back from his surgery, that's going to be the little question mark, but he's been throwing the ball well in the bullpen and feeling good. Evan's someone that's, you know, been a Sunday starter for 2 years. It's a matter of who's going to step up and show that they want that job. Peyton did a great job for us, kind of being our Swiss Army knife from starting to middle relief to back end. An older arm that has a lot of experience. So is he a guy? I think he should put himself in a position. A couple of those portal guys and a lot of the freshman arms that we have faith in them. We see that there's some talent there. Yes, you'd like to have an Eshelman, Garza, and all those guys I think we had from John Gavin, Connor Siebel, and Phil Bickford, and who else is there? There's more I'm thinking about. Colton Eastman, all those freshmen that started, and that's kind of the expectation here, is that freshmen can pitch. It's just a matter of who's going to step up and show they can handle everything and be consistent with everything. So we have faith in the arms that we've recruited. Now it's just a matter of them taking ownership and getting out there competing and being consistent.
And then, as of right now, we're seeing that there's one fall scrimmage. D1 Baseball has kind of that fall scrimmage schedule put up there, scheduled for November 4th with UNLV coming into Goodwin Field. Is there a second scrimmage that you might be able to let us know about that might be either on the road or here, or it's still in the flux?
Yeah, I think we're going to send that out today or tomorrow. We're playing at Cal Baptist on October 28th, that Saturday. And then, UNLV in the 4th here. So, yeah, got 2 good games. We're excited to kind of see and compete against an opponent and see where we're at.
And then in that same vein, with regards to the schedule, the Big West released their conference schedule really, really early, probably the earliest that I've ever seen them release it. So we know that Titans bye week is going to be with the fall, the first weekend. I'm sorry, it's going to fall on the first weekend in May, and probably safe to assume that the Titans are probably going to open up at Stanford, kind of the home and away thing going on there. And then last time we talked, we knew that the Titans are going to be at the Keith LeClaire Classic in first weekend in March. Do you guys have anything for those other weekends, the potential of the bye or those other weekends that are going to be coming out?
Yeah, we have some good opponents we like we have 2 coming in, and then we have another one we're going on the road to play them. So we're excited. I like our schedule again. I think it's going to be competitive. We have teams that have shown that they've been, in the postseason. And every year we're going to compete against Stanford. That's going to be always, whether it's the first week or second week, we're still always going to have that. And then I'm always working to figure out if there's tournaments out there we can go to. And then having opponents come in here that we respect and know it's going to challenge us. And it's always, it's college baseball, right? There's so much parity right now that there's a lot of good programs out there that maybe you're not getting talked about. But we do our best to challenge ourselves outside of conference so we can be ready for conference. And that's the same again this year. Going to North Carolina will be a good test for us to play ECU and 2 other teams that are involved in that, to see what it's like to travel across country and then be able to compete and then come back and be able to play again on a Tuesday. So it's going to challenge our guys, but I think they need that. They need to understand how to go about having that kind of travel, but playing good competition outside of just kind of the West Coast area and see what it's like. So it's going to be fun for us. So we're excited for our schedule, and hopefully that'll be out in the near future. I'm still trying to finalize another game.
So you're not at liberty to say who's able to come in and who you're going to be traveling to?
No, I'm still trying to figure out one other thing and just cross-checking 100% a couple of teams that they said they're coming, but there's still a couple of things I'm trying to figure out.
So when do fall practice? You said that it's a lot of individual work right now, weight room, batting cages, and all that kind of stuff, but on their own. When do fall practices officially start with coaches able to be on the field and give instructions? And then do you guys have a kind of a inter-squad scrimmage that we might be able to come out and take a look at? Yeah,
we start October 9th. That's Monday, October 9th is going to be our first official day of practice. And then we'll do our best to coordinate the weekly schedule of our inter-squads. We'll be posting that probably on Twitter and Instagram, just kind of letting know the days and times, how many innings. So we're excited for that. And then the back end, I think we're done around November 12th. We'll have our blue-orange series that weekend. And then we have the 2 games, but we'll have a good amount of scrimmages. Last year we didn't have as much because we had a different approach with so many new guys. This year we're starting earlier in regards to having a lot more inter-squads and scrimmages, so just we can evaluate at a high level and see where we're at. So we're excited for October 9th right now. Like I said, we're just doing a lot of we're only at 4 hours a week with our guys, so we got to spread that up. And then we got bullpens going on pitchers. We're on I think a lot of them are on their 4th bullpen the next couple of days, and then next week they'll be going another pen live to live hitters. So we're just doing kind of the process that we like of kind of taking our time and make sure, because when you have a lot of guys, you don't want to throw a lot at them. You want to kind of slowly implement your style, your philosophies, both offensively, defensively, and pitching, and just kind of let them learn about you and how the program works, and the returners helping us continuously grow. So yeah, we're excited for not just October 9th, but every day to get a chance to be out there with them and see them grow and get better.
Thanks for listening to the 1544 Miles to Omaha podcast. Feel free to visit our website, calstateomaha.com. While there, you can order an official Cal State Omaha t-shirt from the merch store. Follow the 1544 Miles to Omaha podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Cal State Omaha. Please like us on Facebook at facebook.com/CalStateOmaha. The 1544 Miles to Omaha podcast is an On the Lam Enterprises production and is not affiliated with Cal State Fullerton or Titan Baseball.